David Prescott, who's a director of Commucan, and a very interesting subject that's been getting an awful lot of attention, David, the empty seats that we're seeing at these Olympic venues. Now, we know the fuss and the trouble that people had to try and get tickets, and I know that the social networks have gone mad with people absolutely irate to see these banks of empty seats when they couldn't get tickets. The big question is, why?
Well, I certainly found it so over the last, I went yesterday, I managed to get an access ticket for £10 because I live in Greenwich, it's an Olympic borough. So I managed to get 3 tickets for £10 each. Now that only just got you access to the actual park itself. In fact, here it is the ticket. And you get through and you've got the big screen so you can watch them there. I had no idea at all that you'd have to actually get any chance of actually watching any action. Because what we're told us though, all the tickets are gone, they'll be packed completely. But I was quite surprised when you went in. It only seemed about half full, the actual park itself, because it's quite a big place when you get inside. But like a typical Brit, I managed to see people queuing near a ticket stall just by the basketball centre. So I joined the queue and then asked obviously what I was actually queuing for, as I said, typical Brit. And they said we're queuing for recycled tickets. So what's happening is, and I'll show you one ticket that I managed to get here. It was for the basketball yesterday, and I managed to get it from a face value of £90. I got it recycled for £5. When you go in to the sporting venue, you're checked in there on your barcode on the ticket. So that officially tells the system you're in the building. Now, if you come out from the session, you can't get back in, but they scan it on the way out as well. So that basically tells you that that place has become free, and then the ticket is recycled back to the ticket office, and you get free tickets there. So, or £5 will be paid for there.
So a question for you. Do you think this whole issue with the not filled seats kind of misses the point? Because, I mean, to my mind anyway, if the seats were full, it wouldn't necessarily be that much better because it would just represent the carve-up of the seats in any event. So, I mean, I'm aggravated with the distribution of tickets, but whether the corporates go or not, in a sense, is neither here nor there.
I know, but if you've spent £9.5 billion of your money to basically pay for those games, it's infuriating to see when you've spent so many time trying to actually get those tickets on the computer and trying to get the download and having problems and then have to do it again and you release the tickets. It's infuriating to see when half the places are actually full. Now, when I went to the basketball arena yesterday, it wasn't too bad. There was only just a few tickets actually around or so, but there was a flow that came through. When you've got a double-headed session like you had for basketball yesterday, you have people going in at 2:30 and the session went through to 6:30. Now, not many people want to see 4 hours of basketball, so the recycling works through from there. The problem is, for me working in public relations, that is just a public relations disaster nationwide and internationally, to show you can't really organise an event. And actually, the technology is there to actually make them more fuller. All we would need to do, and I wrote a blog about it last night, and it managed to get about 17,000 views and about 300, 400 retweets. The 3 things that they can do to make it better, really quite simple. They can, firstly, promote the fact that they do recycling of the seats, because no one knows about that in there. We only just found it out by chance. Secondly, there should be a half-hour time limit. So when the session starts at 2:30 on your ticket, if you're not in by 3 o'clock or maybe a little bit later than that, your ticket will get instantly recycled back to the box office. Now, if somebody turns up legitimately with that ticket and you're past that period, that's fine, they can get another recycled ticket. And the third thing I'd do is, there's not enough people actually coming in on the day access tickets. People want to feel that they can get there and stand a chance of getting in. And from what I've seen, there's still a lot of space inside the whole of the Olympic Park to get people in. So I would probably do about an extra 100 day tickets on a first-come, first-served basis that we could then actually put inside and get people to come up, and then you can monitor the system during the day. And I've just managed to discover about a couple of hours ago, the 30-minute rule of actually getting in and then recycling the tickets is something now that the British Olympic Association, the chairman, Colin Moynihan, is now calling for. So I don't know whether they read my blog or something else, but you know, at least we can get to try and solve these problems, because the organisation inside is fantastic, but this is just one thing that's going to kill them.
It's interesting. I mean, you've come up with some decent solutions there to what looks an ugly problem on television screens when you see these seats, given the problems and given people's irritation. Now, my understanding is it isn't just all about corporates not taking up their allocation.
Yeah.
And I know there's been suggestions that some clients don't want to take tickets because they don't want to be. It's almost like bribery, they feel. But secondly,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But secondly, also that it's accredited people, i.e., governing bodies, the press, and other parts of the Olympic family, as they call it, you know, other organisations that are accredited that haven't taken up the tickets. Now, again, that just cannot be right, can it?
Yeah, it can't be really, and I think you've got to come to a sensible solution. So you're talking about three audiences there almost. Funny enough, I heard the other day, and there's been a bit of misunderstanding across the industry about the Bribery Act. A lot of companies actually feel that by accepting hospitality, they will be in breach of the Act. And actually, there's been no prosecutions whatsoever on the Bribery Act, but people just don't want to take any chances. So as a result, I heard the other day, a bank managed to have had 12 tickets to the men's 100-metre final, and they gave them back to LOCOG because they couldn't get rid of them for love nor money, because people were too scared to take them. I think we've seen it with politicians as well. They were offered it by sponsors, but in this political atmosphere at the moment, no politician can be seen going on a jolly to the games as well. And I think even the government said they weren't going to take complimentary tickets as well. In terms of the wider Olympic family and the accreditation, yeah, it's a very important point to actually make there. I think they've got to do a bit of give and take here. And I think we've got to realise that if we did it through my system, they could probably still get in and get another recycled ticket. But they can't just have a debenture for the whole of that event and the whole of the Olympics there. I think, you know, they can still fast track them to the front of the recycling queue, but we just need to do as much as possible to get as many people in as possible to, you know, to sample what is the greatest show on earth.
David, thanks very much indeed. Keep blogging. We'll follow you with interest now, and of course, and see what happens with these tickets and the solutions that you've actually proposed. David Prescott, thanks for your time. And of course, the Olympic